Hello, this is Matt Russell from the FX Power Course. So, as I spoke about above, our stops should be a function of our risk to reward ratio. But of course, there are other options that we can use, some more advanced methods. And I just want to go over some of the methods that I use. Basically, two basic methods that I use. First of all, this is the dollar yen. This is a 60-minute chart, and we can see this is a perfect example of a third line touch of a resistance line, and I'm speaking about an entry right here. So at the point of entry, our stop would be located. Let me draw a parallel line. Our stop would be located obviously above that resistance line, maybe anywhere from about 15 pips to, let's say, about 30 pips above. So we would have a line like that just in case the resistance line doesn't hold initially if we have a large spike or something like that. That's why it's always very important to wait till prices actually hit the resistance line. Now, once the trade starts to move in our favor, and let's assume that we entered the trade near this resistance line and we had to stop as I showed above. Now, once we're in the trade and it's moving in our favor, what to do? Now, this is a common position and hopefully a position that we are in a lot, which is to be in a trade that's working out for us, but not exactly sure where to exit. So, some of the methods that I employ, one of which would be just using Fibonacci levels. And I would just add simple retracement lines to the point at which I entered. And then I would wait to see if we have a close above the 61.8. Now the 61.8 would be this line right here. And we would just continually update with each candle that closes, each low to use for the Fibonacci level. And we can see that, let's say we held as prices came down here and we stayed in the trade. And we have our stop set at the 61.8. Now prices come up and actually test 61.8 here, but we do not have a close above the 61.8. So what I would suggest, and this is a method that I often use, is I would not exit until we have a close above the 61.8 retracement level. Now that obviously will save us a few pips by moving our stop down. Instead of using the stop line that was parallel to the resistance line that I was using before, this will lock in a few more pips, and it's a way to manually trail your stop, and that's something that I often mention in the course. So rather than using the trailing stop feature, for example, on the trading station, I personally don't recommend using that because, in my opinion, that's a little bit arbitrary. We should have a clear technical reason for exiting the trade, and there's no better technical reason, in my opinion, than a close above a 61.8 retracement level. And here we have an example of why waiting for a close would be very important. But again, learning to exit is very much an art form. And at first, I recommend for new traders use your exits as a function of your risk reward. Say you're risking 30 pips, try to make 90 pips, take your profits right away. Maybe for a small portion of the position, you might hold longer and try to feel out the proper way to exit, because it's going to be different every time. The market is dynamic, ever changing. Mark Twain once said, "History doesn't repeat, it rhymes," and that's so true in the markets. Like, you're not going to have a standard method that you can employ exactly each and every time. But here's a method that I use using Fibonacci lines from the point of entry, assuming it's a major technical level that the entry was based on, and waiting for a close above that 61.8. Again, my name is Matt Russell. I'm an FX Power Course instructor here at FXCM.